setzen. Und wir kommen zum nächsten Punkt der Tagesordnung. Das ist die gemeinsame Aussprache über Kryptowerte, und zwar über den Bericht von Herrn Berger, Märkte für Kryptowerte, und den Bericht von Herrn URTASUN und Frau Kanko, Übermittlung von Angaben bei den Geldtransfers und Transfers bestimmter Kryptowerte. Es gibt eine kleine Unruhe, aber ich glaube, wir können schon beginnen, und ich darf dann Herrn Berger das Wort erteilen. Bitte sehr, als Berichterstatter.
Ja, vielen Dank, Frau Präsidentin, meine Damen und Herren, liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen. Mit der morgigen Abstimmung über die Kryptoverordnung geht ein langer und komplexer Prozess zu Ende. Mit der morgigen Abstimmung erzielen wir einen gemeinsamen Erfolg. Einen Erfolg, liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen, um den wir lange gerungen haben. Und mit der morgigen finalen Abstimmung über die Kryptoverordnung setzen wir die Europäische Union an die weltweite Spitze in der Token Economy. Bisher war die juristische Situation bei Krypto vergleichbar mit Wild West. Regeln, die Verbraucher vor Betrug und Gefahren schützen, waren de facto nicht existent, und das wird jetzt beendet. Wir haben den Fall FTX erlebt, in dem eine Börse 30 Milliarden Dollar verbrannt hat und beinahe einen Lehman Brothers-Moment ausgelöst hätte, und das nur, weil eine Regulierung gefehlt hat, die dies verhindert hätte. Und MiCA, Markets in Crypto Assets, repariert das Vertrauen, das durch Fälle wie FTX beschädigt wurde. Und durch diesen ausgewogenen Rechtsrahmen schaffen wir Stabilität in einer jungen Branche. Wie sieht dieser Rechtsrahmen aus? Was haben wir konzipiert? Zunächst klassifizieren wir Coins, um sie beurteilen zu können. Dann klären wir auch Informationsrechte der Verbraucher. Und deshalb müssen Herausgeber von Coins ab jetzt ein White Paper erstellen, in dem sie auf die zugrunde liegende Technologie, Risiken, Umtausch, Rückgaberechte und vieles mehr eingehen müssen, um zum Handel zugelassen zu werden. Auch muss bei der Zulassung neuer Coins geprüft werden, ob das Geschäftsmodell nicht die Währungsstabilität gefährdet. Und Facebook mit 2,4 Milliarden Usern hätte so eine Genehmigung für das geplante Projekt Libra nie bekommen. Wir haben Non-Fungible Tokens von MiCA ausgenommen. MiCA adressiert im Wesentlichen in diesem Bereich nur die Crypto Asset Service Provider, die Dienstleistungen für NFTs anbieten, und auch das ist eine gute Lösung. Genauso wie wir eine kompetente Aufsichtsarchitektur zwischen EBA und ESMA sichergestellt haben und gut gefunden haben. Und schließlich und endlich wird der Aspekt der Umweltauswirkungen wurde sehr kontrovers bei uns im Verhandlungsteam diskutiert. Wir haben eine gute Lösung gefunden, ohne auf ein Verbot von Proof of Work zurückgreifen zu müssen. Stattdessen müssen Herausgeber strengen Offenlegungspflichten über den Energieverbrauch und die Umweltauswirkungen beachten. Und ich glaube, anhand dieser Daten soll jeder selbst für sich entscheiden können, ob er ein Crypto-Asset kauft oder nicht. Meine Damen und Herren, die Tokenisierung setzt sich fort. Die Blockchain-Technologie ermöglicht bahnbrechende Innovationen. Mit MiCA haben wir die richtige Antwort. Ich danke allen Schattenberichterstattern für intellektuell hochklassige Diskussionen. Wir haben uns in Gebiete vorgewagt, die nie zuvor Gegenstand politischer Debatten waren. Ich danke auch der Kommission für die gute Zusammenarbeit in diesen komplexen Diskussionen und bitte morgen um eine breite Unterstützung. Vielen Dank.
Herzlichen Dank. Nächster Redner, ebenfalls als Berichterstatter, ist der Kollege URTASUN.
Dear President, Commissioner, the MiCA and TFR recast marked the end of Wild West era for the unregulated world of crypto assets. For over a decade, the lack of regulation has resulted in massive losses to many first-time investors and provided a safe haven for fraudsters and international criminal networks. MiCA represents an important and necessary first step to bring the crypto sector under the regulatory oversight. There will be safeguards for investor protection, rules against market abuse, anti-money laundering checks on companies, and crypto companies will be held liable to their clients. One key concern was that this whole new framework is undermined by foreign companies serving EU customers from outside the EU in breach of MiCA standards. We successfully pushed for a EU-wide blacklist of non-compliant entities supported by far-reaching supervisory powers. This will add regulatory teeth to MiCA. One contentious point was related to the climate impact of crypto mining. MiCA will require now issuers and crypto companies to disclose information on the climate footprint of the crypto they issue and trade, based on a standardized methodology. This is positive, but I have to say it is only a first step until we finally manage to better control at international level certain consensus mechanisms that are extremely energy intensive and have become a threat for our climate goals. Overall, there is more to be done. From lending and staking, decentralized finance, NFTs, to the environmental impact of crypto mining, as well as on antitrust and with respect to supervision of crypto groups. The recent collapses in crypto space, FTX, SVB, Silvergate showed the urgency of taking additional steps. MiCA today is a first step, but it's not enough. Finally, MiCA will fully apply only in the last quarter of 2024. And I would like to ask the Commission that until then, and also the Member States, to analyze possible transitional measures to protect consumers and prevent abuses. Let me now quickly move to the recast of the TFR. Today, illicit flows are moved swiftly across the world with a high chance of never being detected. Criminals thrive where there is financial secrecy and anonymity. The recast of the TFR will finally oblige crypto asset service providers to trace every crypto asset transfer to a verified identity in order to detect and block suspicious transactions and facilitate investigations. The Parliament has significantly strengthened the original Commission proposal. Firstly, by ensuring traceability on all crypto transfers from the first euro by eliminating the de minimis threshold of 1,000 euros. Secondly, transfers between a CASP and a self-hosted wallet are captured by the traceability rules. And thirdly, CASPs are required to apply enhanced due diligence on a risk basis to all transfers with self-hosted wallets, including verification where possible and mandatory verification in certain cases. I believe that with these measures, the EU will implement the most ambitious travel rule legislation in the world so far, in full compliance with international standards. Let me end by thanking my co-rapporteurs and all shadows for the excellent cooperation to ensure a swift conclusion of political negotiations. Thank to Commissioner McGuinness as well and her teams for the support, to the French presidency also for the openness and constructive negotiations. And let me end by thanking my team, Valeria Cosedo and Jesus Hernandez, Green Advisors, with whom my work on this would not have been possible. Thank you so much.
Herzlichen Dank. Als nächstes, ebenfalls als Berichterstatterin, die Kollegin Kanko.
Thank you, Chair. Dear Commissioner and dear colleagues, the last few years have been quite a wild ride in the crypto world. Sometimes, and my colleagues would confirm that as well, it felt like a wild ride also here in this Parliament when we're negotiating the transfer of funds regulations. We started work on this file just after the total crypto market cap hit its 3rd trillion. Trading was feverish, lobbying was feverish, and many people wanted to make sure that we do not harm this growth sector, which was also never our intention. Things look quite different right now. At one point, cryptos collectively lost almost 2/3 of their market value. Although this year there has been some recovery, the sector is reeling from high-profile scandals and bankruptcies. Some very normal people that could be your neighbors have lost a lot. A lot more people have come around to the idea now that crypto assets need normal regulations. That is what we have been working on in Parliament and Council, together with the Commission. I am firmly convinced that the package we are now debating today is a good package. MiCA and TFR together will make holding and trading crypto assets safer for ordinary people and more difficult for criminals, terrorists, and for sanction evaders. Let me highlight a few points. First of all, our new European legislation does not say that crypto assets are bad or that they are good. It does not say that holders and traders of crypto assets are bad or good. This legislation simply seeks to regulate a sector that is still quite new and dynamic, but it takes a neutral approach to the merits of the sector. Secondly, the rules that we agreed upon between Parliament and Council are not revolutionary. I would even say that they are a lot less revolutionary than some people believe crypto assets to be. 99% of our work has been to translate rules that have already existed for many years for the traditional banking sector to the crypto world. We have translated the existing travel rule from traditional finance to crypto. We have translated existing provisions on fighting money laundering and terrorist financing from traditional finance to crypto. Colleague Berger, with his file, created rules on transparency and disclosure, on consumer protection and the prevention of market abuse. All this stuff is standard, as every entrepreneur and every EU country knows. Let me mention two specific issues from my own file. First of all, the threshold for application of the travel rule, or rather the absence of a threshold. It was the Slovenian Council presidency that first removed the €1,000 threshold from the Commission proposal. In Parliament, we followed the member states. I'm convinced we are doing the right thing here. Colleagues, a €1,000 threshold is really quite meaningless in the crypto world. There is high price volatility. Smurfing and opening or closing accounts is so easy. Just like banks, crypto asset service providers would anyway need to check linked transactions. So even with a threshold in place, small amounts cannot be transferred without bureaucracy. Most importantly, it's often in the small amounts that crime are hidden. We have seen evidence of fundraisers from terrorists with amounts of around €100. We have seen evidence of payments on child pornography sites with amounts around 10 or 20 euros. If we would not include the small transfers, we will not be doing enough. Another contentious issue has been the partial inclusion of unhosted wallets. Again, the member states made the first move in their general approach. The point is the following. We already agree that crypto asset service providers, the banks and trading houses of crypto, need regulation. We also concluded that peer-to-peer transfers, the decentralized part of the crypto world, should stay out of the scope, even if I understand that my S&D colleague Paul Tang disagrees. But what about the interaction between crypto wallets hosted by CASPs and the unregulated private wallets? In order to prevent a massive loophole, we decided to apply the travel rule to those interactions as well. This is not fundamentally different from identifying yourself when making cash deposits or withdrawals from your bank account. Will this create a dual system and push crypto holders and traders into the unregulated world? I don't think so. The verification burden on CASPs is very limited. We are not going to be as strict as some other countries are already today. Colleagues, there is more to say, but I think my time for now is up, and I'm looking forward to our debate. I will be happy to get back to you at the end after hearing your observation, and I also extend my thanks to my co-rapporteur, URTASUN, who was amazing, to all the shadows, and to my political group advisor, Ernest URTASUN, thank you very much, and the collaboration with Valeria.
Vielen Dank. Dann darf ich nun für die Kommission Frau Kommissarin McGuinness das Wort erteilen.
Thank you, Madam President. Dear colleagues, I welcome this debate, and I think it's really important that we're having an exchange excuse me, before we have the vote tomorrow. Because as some of you have mentioned, we are ahead of many other jurisdictions in this area. But I want to start by thanking the rapporteurs and to acknowledge the very good cooperation despite disagreements to get these files over the line. Let me name Stefan BERGER for MiCA, Ernest URTASUN and Assita KANKO for the transfer of funds regulation, and of course all of the shadow rapporteurs for both files. And I really do want to extend an appreciation for our Econ chair, René Tignali, who has facilitated this work, and of course the French presidency. We are putting in place comprehensive, tailored rules for crypto assets in the European Union No one, I think, in this House questions why these rules are absolutely vital for the financial system. And as we've seen in recent months, stringent rules and supervision are very much needed because we've had the collapse of projects such as FTX, Terra Luna, Celsius and Voyager. We've seen many retail investors lured in by false promises or false hopes, losing huge amounts of money. And while the crypto market may be too small to trigger systemic risks, we do know that there are increasing links between crypto markets and traditional financial services. So now to a few elements of our new rules. Firstly, MiCA will bring crypto markets into the regulated space by addressing risks related to consumer protection, market integrity, and financial stability. It will also provide legal certainty for market participants that will be able to continue to innovate in a safe environment. Secondly, it will introduce rules to prevent market abuse of crypto markets, such as market manipulation. And we're bringing crypto asset service providers into the scope of anti-money laundering rules. Third, under MiCA, crypto asset service providers like wallet providers or exchanges that serve EU customers will have to be established in the EU, and they will be authorised and supervised by national supervisory authorities. MiCA will allow EU authorised crypto asset service providers to passport their services throughout the European Union. In return, these operators will be subject to stringent prudential and conduct rules, in addition to rules against insider trading and market manipulation. Crypto asset service providers will also have to disclose the environmental impact of crypto assets they offer to customers. Fourth, the transfer of funds will require all crypto asset service providers recognised under MiCA to include information about the sender and beneficiary with crypto asset transfers. This is in full compliance with the Financial Action Task Force international standards on crypto assets. Overall, we're putting safeguards in place that would prevent companies active on the EU market from engaging in some of the practices that led certain crypto asset operators to collapse in recent months. After your vote tomorrow, we hope final Council approval and the final signature by the co-legislators will soon follow. And we hope for publication by the end of June and entry into force in July of 2023. The new rules will apply progressively. Yes, Marcus, I looked for attention from my colleague and I got clarification. Thank you. The MiCA provisions on stablecoins will start to apply in July of 2024. The provisions on issuers of other crypto assets and crypto asset service providers will start applying in January of 2025, together with the transfer of funds rules. We're applying these new rules rather progressively, giving stakeholders time to adapt to them. And it gives us time to adopt the secondary legislation for the implementation of the rules. On a final note, and I think this is very clear to all of us, crypto markets are international. And this means that robust rules in the EU are necessary, but other countries need to play their part as well. So I'm very supportive of international regulatory discussions in this area. Indeed, in the US just last week, we did have useful conversations with our US counterparts about the regulation of crypto markets. So thank you for this debate, and I look forward now to listening to all of the contributions.
Vielen Dank, Frau Kommissarin.